Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the daily market update show, where I update you guys on QQQ SPY and currently, as well as what's going on currently in the market. And I'll give you guys a bull perspective and as well as a bear perspective of things going forward, because we always want to look on both sides and play both sides to make the most money. All right, so let's get into it. So right now we are looking at NVDA at its all-time highs. It is up close to pretty much 30% from its low of today to after hours high due to its bullish earnings reaction, and as well as a pretty decent guide, and everything on the earnings call was pretty decent if you ask me, and hence why it's holding its gains after the earnings call is finished. So NVIDIA pretty much erased all of QQQ and most of SPY's losses today, and so there is no more resistance for NVIDIA up here due to NVIDIA breaking all-time highs. So we just need more price action in here to determine future resistance. But as of now, there is nothing above NVIDIA. And what I was saying last week on Sunday, if we break 316, potentially we'll test all-time highs on this range or this range. But what you thought it would just blow right through it and be 20% above the all-time highs, which is crazy. So as of now, slight sign of pullback, which is normal. We're up 30%. Any bit of pullback within the 0.382 is, or even half of that, would still be very healthy and normal. So let's say we just pull back here, still be a bull flag. And it could just chop around, and next thing you know, next leg up. Never know. I would be surprised if we get another leg up after chopping around here, but we'll see. We never know, because NVIDIA is helping Microsoft and Google, which is both AI related after hours. So let's go to the 6-hour chart here. So you can see Microsoft is pretty much up 70% from Thursday's and Friday's drop. So we have pulled up towards that, negated 70% of that drop already, just this after hours. So let's say if Microsoft decides to continue, it's going to all-time high as well, then there's a good chance NVIDIA, the strongest of the AI stocks, let's say we form that bull flag, and then goes up while Microsoft and Google are going up, holding QQQ up and semiconductor sector up, although things going together, right? So that's a possibility. But as a bull, you still want to be cautious due to how much it's already ran up and potentially take some profits due to we've been up. Let's see, from here it would be $100. Let's just say 100. This is, and we would say this is 400. Yeah, like a 400% move on NVIDIA already this year. So we'll see if it continues. But as of now, there is 0 red flags on QQQ chart. We'll go to that in a second. So Google also retraced 70% of this drop. So as well in the after hours due to its exposure to AI as well. It's a decent bounce there. Amazon, not as much, even though because Amazon did not pull back as much during this last 2 days, but it's bounced about 0.9% currently versus like 2% on Microsoft and Google. It also retraced close to 70% of its drop the last 2 days. And Apple is the only one that is not participating in this pop, which is very unusual because we don't see QQQ up like 1.5%, while Apple is red 0.15%. So this potentially be a head and shoulders I talked about over the weekend that it may form due to how fast we came back under this. We consolidated for over a week. We'll see if it actually shapes up, potentially like that, if it breaks the neckline here. Another update over there on Sunday of all the big tech stocks: Tesla, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and Apple on Sunday. So now let's get into the QQQ. So QQQ, I was talking about yesterday, where as long as we don't break this pivot low for when we pull back, we're still in a very healthy daily uptrend. And there's no red flags on QQQ or NASDAQ at the moment due to how healthy the chart is. Even with the size of this pullback, it's still very healthy. Obviously, the bulls don't want to see just a straight drop back down here, and then we can potentially shape up head and shoulders and blow off top and stuff, all that kind of stuff. But As long as it holds above this pivot low, we are in a daily uptrend. But we bounce off of this prior resistance, which was over here. You can see all this resistance here as well. Couldn't get over 3 times, bounce off of it around this area, and we're now above it. So when we came back to it, it acted as a support. And we had a nice bounce close to the end of the day, and still currently holding this rising wedge. See, this is resistance, this is support. Essentially, if this bounces, although this size of this pullback, now we have enough space for a higher low, but NVIDIA's earnings reaction kind of negated that. Higher low meaning this, the next high of the next bounce high is going to be lower than this high. So if it's a higher low set, meaning that would look like this. So this high would be lower than this high, and that would form a daily downtrend if that happens. Take a look at the retracement size already. Yeah, I mean, we bounced a little bit too much now for the higher low to be set. I mean, it could still happen, right? You can set that higher low here, but this bounce already bounced over 50% of this retracement. When we bounce, we don't want to. If we don't bounce over 50%, then there's a good chance that we may set a daily higher, lower high. But now we are over 50%, meaning close to 70% now. So the chances of that happening is lower, much lower. And us breaking up this high is now there's more chance of us breaking our high now than us setting a lower high. If that makes sense to you guys. But yeah, this probability based on the size of the retracement and the position of the candling, and currently we're still in a daily uptrend, weekly uptrend, and so we have to follow the trend as well as what the price action is telling us. If we had a shallow bounce like this and we start to set a daily higher low, then I'll tell you the probability of us breaking that and going on a daily downtrend is much higher due to us couldn't even get over, for example, 0.382%. But now we are over 70%. So that's the most likely scenario. But then bears can also argue SPY is so much weaker. Like it's obviously the current bulls that has been the bull sector is semiconductor sector, so SMH, and the tech sector QQQ. So we've been seeing that for the past couple months. And the weaker sector is the financial sector, XLF, and the healthcare sector, XLV. So hence, you can see we chopped around this zone forever and popped above it, squeezed the shorts, and that was it. There's no buyers left. Essentially, this is what happens after the psychology of us breaking resistance and coming back right into the zone again with no follow through. So if you were shorting here within this range and you see this breakout, you're like, oh, shoot, I gotta cover my position. This is a bullish breakout. You can see volume coming in, increasing. You cover and squeeze the shorts move. So it moved up and we pull back a little bit, hold the support for 2 days. This is where bulls are supposed to be buying. Because we just broke the resistance and now we are back testing it and holding it for 2 days. So that's where bulls should be accumulating for the next move up. And the next day we just go boom, came back into this range. And essentially that just means there's no buyers in buy. The only thing that was making this go up was some short squeezing here a little bit, as well as QQQ pulling it up. If it wasn't for QQQ, this move wouldn't have happened, right? So I was talking about it here right at this 2 days when it hold, saying what happens when QQQ just pulls back for daily consolidation, like a super healthy, like a 1 day daily consolidation, just to cool things off a little bit. With SPY be able to hold up, and it didn't. So you can see SPY did not hold up at all when QQQ just takes a short breather. So this pullback was extremely healthy, nothing red flag here, right? And so even today too. So I just made another big move down after QQQ, just two small days of pullback, still daily uptrend still above the pivot low of this one. Very healthy. And we tested this 410. Remember just 2 weeks ago, even just last week, sorry, 2 weeks ago, where we chopped around this zone forever. Every time we dipped below to 410, 410, 410, we came back to it, came back to it. So it is very, very reasonable for us to hold that level today after a 3 days two-ish day drop straight into it. So as of now, SPY also is up fairly a little bit on after hours. And I still don't like the chart at all for SPY. And due to us breaking this rising wedge, you can see this is the resistance and this is the support. So now we are out of the rising wedge. And funny enough, obviously QQQ's bullish reaction to NVDA, when QQQ is up, it will slightly drag up because XLK is in SPY, which is the tech sector. And so obviously if XLF, XLV continue to be weak, it's going to still hold SPY down. So we're back testing it. This rising wedge prior support, now will it become resistance? We'll be able to know tomorrow. So you can see QQQ retraced over 70% of the move just from the NVIDIA bounce, and SPY have only retraced probably, let me see here, we're gonna guess close to 0.382. Yeah. So this orange line right here is 0.382. It's yellow looking orangey. So that's still a bear flag. Potential bear flag if we don't get over that. So as well as it coincides with the rising wedge resistance, as well as it coincides with this chop zone resistance. You can see right here, all these wicks at the top of the zone resistance. So if QQQ's fuel is used up tomorrow, let's say we open, right? We open that high, gap up, and it just goes into straight selling. And this is not going to get over. So be a clear rejection here at this zone. So that's, and then we'll come back to 410. If we just reject from there, we will test 410 again for sure. So if we break that, we're looking at that down here at this 405, 404 range right here. And for SPY, we'll likely test this 200 moving average when we get back down here, this area. So still that same narrative. Well, SPY bears join QQQ, or QQQ join SPY bears. Still that XLF, XLV, healthcare, financial sector, that's still being weak, and XLK, tech sector, and QQQ being strong, and semiconductors being strong, SMH. And growth stocks are just in between. They just, they have 1-2 days that are bullish, and then 1 or 2 days are bearish. Chopping around IWM and XBI and a couple other growth stocks, but so they're in between. So we still got to see who's going to join who, right? If SPY breaks down under the 200 and QQQ is just, trying to hold up, trying to grind up slowly, next thing you know, QQQ may need to take a breather as well. Then the chart will likely potentially break down. That's from the bear perspective. But if QQQ continues to slowly grind up, and next thing you know, the financial sector or the healthcare sector decides to join Team Bull, then we can potentially, get back up again to this zone for SPY. So that's a narrative for both either the bear or the bull. Just depends on who joins who. So that's where I stand at the moment, and I'll update you guys tomorrow. The debt ceilings are still negotiating. They're just all that drama. They always do that on both sides, and to drag it out in the last minute before they do their thing. But probability wise, they never defaulted. So I'm just gonna say they probably won't default this time, but who knows? But and interesting for rate hikes. Here you can see the probability here. Rate hikes actually increased to a hike in July 26, which is very interesting because if I was the Fed and I wanted to hike one last hike, you expect them to do it in June and then just hold instead of doing it in July and then cutting in December, which is a little bit odd for me. But chances of a rate hike has been increasing. for the last these 3 months. And now the July is an actual rate hike probability who is higher than hold. So this is staying pretty even. But we just need the next CPI data to come in, because there's one CPI data coming in right before the June rate hike, which is 20 days from now. So that would shift the probability for sure. And that would be the decision that the Fed's going to make on the 14th. For example, if CPI comes in really well, then it's very, very likely that's going to be a hold. CPI comes in really bad, then there's a potential of a hike in June, and they might just hold in July. But as for now, this is what I'm seeing on the Fed watch tool. So we'll just have to go along with this. And SPY is pulling back a little bit, kind of a rejection because NVDA is pulling back a little bit. So QQQ is pulling back a little bit as well. And so this question, right? If QQQ is up 1.5%, right? And SPY is just only up like 0.4. And see here. Yeah, it's not much. It's 0.5. So right. So if QQQ decides to just gap out tomorrow and sells off, right? Gap up, sells off, then SPY is going to be testing probably low range of today's range again. So we'll see. I'll update you guys tomorrow, and feel free to subscribe if you guys made it this far, and I will update you. Yeah, I'll update you guys tomorrow. I already said that. I'll do the natural gas video on Saturday, weekly natural gas video, and the big tech, all the big techs stocks update on Sunday. And tomorrow will be the same thing. It'll be the daily QQQ SPY updates and whatever goes on the market. I'll let you guys know. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys around.